Capital, Nairobi. My name is Beatrice Njeri. Our sign language interpreter is Paul Mathenge, and together we'll be taking you through the stories making headlines tonight. But first, here are the highlights.
The National Executive Committee now resolves to designate His Excellency Professor Kithure Kindiki, EGH, as the Deputy Party Leader of the United Democratic Alliance Party, effective immediately.
Kindiki replaces Gachagua again. United Democratic Party Alliance appoints Deputy President Kithure Kindiki as its Deputy Party Leader after former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was ousted through impeachment by Parliament.
Teachers who are in our schools to ensure that they improve on surveillance.
Murder in exams. 8 Form 4 students, suspects from China's Boys Secondary School in Gilgil, Nakuru County, held over failed stabbing of a classmate. Haiti appoints new Prime Minister by consensus by citing Conil's inability to unite the council amid growing crisis. Alex Didier feels aim to replace Gary Conil as gangs tighten grip on the capital. Kenya women's amputee football team answer fourth place finish in this year's Women's Amputee Football World Cup held at the Romelio Martinez Stadium in Barranquilla, Colombia. National Executive Committee has today replaced Rigathi Gachagua as the party's deputy party leader with Professor Kithure Kindiki. The National Executive Committee, which has approved the removal of Rigathi Gachagua from the party as deputy party leader, organized the Central Executive Committee at the United Democratic Alliance headquarters in Karen, Nairobi. Here are the details.
The Central Executive Committee for the ruling party has today made changes in its leadership just a week after Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki was sworn in following the impeachment of the Kenya's former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, and Kindiki, having been sworn in as the Deputy President, automatically makes him the Deputy Party Leader in accordance to the Kenyan Constitution.
In consideration of the Article 147.1, 145.7, 75.3 of the Constitution of Kenya, and Article 24.3 of the UDA Party Constitution, and in exercise of powers conferred by Article 8.2 of the Constitution of the United Democratic Alliance Party, the National Executive Committee notes that by virtue of the resolution of the National Assembly and the vote of the Senate, and by operation of Article 75.3 and 145.7 of the Constitution of Kenya, as read together with Article 8.2.19 of the UDA Party Constitution, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua is unable to perform the duties of the office of the Deputy Party Leader and subsequently ceases to hold office as Deputy Party Leader. The National Executive Committee now resolves to designate His Excellency Professor Kithure Kindiki, EGH, as the Deputy Party Leader of the United Democratic Alliance Party, effective immediately, signed on this day of 11th November 2024 by Her Excellency Governor Cecily Mbarire.
According to Professor Kithure Kindiki, who was handed over the party's instruments of power by the party's chairperson, Her Excellency Governor Cecily Mbarire, which included the party's constitution, the party's manifesto, and the official deputy party leader's file, he stated the importance of a political party in the country's leadership.
I would not be Interior Minister if it was not for the party. And in all democratic countries, in all multi-party democratic countries, the party is the one that forms government, and therefore the party is bigger than government. The head of state and government is the party leader first before being president.
The Deputy President Kithure Kindiki will be chairing the party official meeting in the absence of the party leader, according to the party's Leadership Act, as the National Executive Committee for the United Democratic Alliance congratulated the deputy party leader for new party position and have urged the deputy party leader to take the party to the next level as a ruling party. Davis Karani, GBS News, Nairobi.
8 Form 4 boys from Shiner's Boys Secondary School in Gilgil, Nakuru County will continue their examinations at police cells following their arrest in connection with the fatal stabbing of their classmate. Speaking while overseeing the distribution of examination containers in Nakuru East on Monday, Basic Education Principal Secretary Belio Kipsang stated that the suspects would proceed with their examinations wherever they were until the exercise was done under the guard of the law enforcement officials as investigations continue. Here is more on the same. As thousands of Kenya's Certificate of Secondary Education candidates sit for their examinations comfortably across the country, looking forward to the future that awaits them, 18-year-old Vincent Goge's dream was cut short as he was stabbed to death in his school, Shiner's Boys Secondary School in Gilgil, Nakuru County. The tragic incident occurred earlier this week and has left the school community in shock. Speaking while overseeing the distribution of examination containers in Nakuru East on Monday, Basic Education Principal Secretary Kipsang stated that the suspects would proceed with their examinations wherever they were until the exercise was done under the guard of the law enforcement officials as investigations continued.
This morning, the candidate will do the exam from wherever they are, and thereafter we shall conclude the process. And I'm sure they will be taken to court in the course of time.
8 Form 4 students from the school will continue sitting for their examinations under police custody following the arrest in connection with the murder. The primary suspect in the school murder has been apprehended. The student, a Sudanese national, was reportedly lured back to the school after he traveled overnight to Nairobi shortly after allegedly stabbing a classmate in the county. Gilgil County Commissioner Winston Mwakio stated upon his return to school, Dark was found with several rolls of bang in his jacket pocket.
Culprit, the person who is said to have stabbed the deceased, managed to disappear last night to Nairobi, where the mom is residing. 4 boys were under suspension, but they came back to school because of examination. The other 3 boys who were in the scuffle are already in police custody and waiting and assisting police with the investigations.
The 5 of them are in Baruch police post, which is not very far from that school. And these ones, as we talk, they are doing their exams. They are doing their exams in that police station. The other 3 who we had arrested initially, the 3 of them are in Gilgil police station.
The tragic incident that has led to the premature death of the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education candidate is reported to have stemmed out of a disagreement about personal effects at around 8 p.m. on Saturday. The students, who are now in custody, are said to have instigated the quarrel and has just recently returned to the school after suspension over indiscipline issues. After returning to the school, the students allegedly found some of their items destroyed, upon which they laid blame on the victim and attacked him in the dormitory. Confirming the incident on Sunday, Gilgil Sub-County Police Commander Winston Mwakio stated they were yet to determine how the 4 got hold of the knife.
This school is a school that we've said we need the Ministry of Education to do an inspection once exams are complete, because we want to understand whether we could be having administrative issues in that school that are affecting the normal operation of a school.
The shocking incident has since gripped the nation, seeing that it adds to a series of the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education candidates who have passed away since the theory examinations kicked off a week ago, a bait of a more natural means. Gogi's mother tearfully expressed how the news shocked her entire family as the kin were expecting their son to complete the examination and get home safely. Efforts to save the victim proved futile and he succumbed to the stab wound injury on his lower abdomen. His body is still at the Nakuru morgue awaiting a post-mortem exam.
Hata nimelia usiku yote kwa ajili ya huyu mtoto. Nikijiuliza, msasi, wewe umesomesa mtoto kuanzia form 1 mpaka form 4. Una expect uende kuchuna matunda. Alafu wasade ni mtoto wako unasikia unapigiwa simu unaambiwa mtoto amekufa. Sasa kitu tu ni maombi, tuombe hao wenye wako hapa ndani. Hata sina la kuongea.
Outrage has erupted across Kenya following the tragic death of 3-year-old Ruth Chepngeno, who passed away after allegedly being neglected for hours at Longisa County Referral Hospital in Bomet. Ruth was one of 4 children rushed to the hospital on Saturday after suffering bee stings. But family members claim she received no medical attention for over 5 hours. The young girl's death, captured in a now viral video showing staff reportedly ignoring her pain, has sparked national conversation for healthcare standards in the region. Here is the full report.
Grief and anger filled the air in Koitabai village after 3-year-old Ruth Chepngeno, one of the 4 children stung by bees on Saturday, died following alleged neglect at Longisa County Referral Hospital. Ruth's family, who rushed her to the hospital with severe bee sting reactions, say she was left unattended for over 5 hours. By the time she was transferred to Tenwek Hospital, her condition had already deteriorated and she was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. Disturbing video footage, now viral across the country, appears to show Ruth in visible pain, while medical staff allegedly gathered laughing and chatting. This has sparked a national conversation about healthcare standards and accountability as Bomet residents and leaders demand justice. Ruth's aunt, Joanne Cherotich, recounts how despite the family's repeated request for urgent care, they were advised to wait. Only after hours of distress did they receive permission to transfer the children to Tenwek Hospital.
Mtoto aliachiliwa sana kwa muda mrefu. Aliomba usaidizi lakini kuna mwenye alimsaidia. Akamwambia mtusaidie referral twende Tenwek. Tukapewa referral. Tukapeleka watoto wote wawili. Lakini mmoja mwingine mwenye alikuwa kwa hali mbaya hakuweza kufika.
Hospital administrators have since issued a statement explaining that the children arrived in different groups, with Ruth arriving later. Bomet Health Executive Joseph Sitonik explained that the children received initial attention and were referred to Tenwek Hospital as their condition worsened.
Children started vomiting, and the vomiting was blood-stained. And it is when the people in casualty consulted their seniors who advised that we could review with the possibility of referring. Upon asking what to do, the option, according to the family, was probably to take the child on their own, and they took the child at around 8:30.
Local leaders, including Senator Hilary Sigei and Bomet East Member of Parliament Richard Yegon, have condemned the incident, calling it a devastating example of negligence.
We are talking about mistreatment. We are talking about negligence of the people who are in hospital. And one of the worrying things is the silence on the part of the governor to comment on this thing. We have seen the CC Health trying to defend. This is not a case to defend in this time, my good friend, Dr. Sitoni. It is time to take responsibility for the inaction, for the negligence, and for the failed leadership. And we call upon them to take that responsibility by taking the bold step and quitting.
The hospital administration has launched an internal review, but leaders and community members are demanding an independent investigation by the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentist Board to ensure that any parties found culpable are held accountable. Susan Nganga, GBS News.
Former Kenyan Prime Minister Raila Odinga is expressing confidence in his bid to become the next chairperson of the African Union Commission. Speaking at a Thanksgiving ceremony in Rangwe, Homa Bay County, Odinga reaffirmed his commitment to transforming Africa through economic growth, enhanced trade, and climate action. Here are the details.
In Togo, can be bought online by our housewife in Lusaka, where African products can be bought in supermarkets across the world under the name of African brands owned by Africans, and the African workers and farmers are proud of their products. An Africa that does not require visas for other Africans. An African men and women who do not climb on a rickety boat or in an airplane cargo hold, risking their lives to go to greener pastures. I envision a continent whose progress is driven by its own people.
Many thanks for joining this live broadcast. We have a lot lined up for you in our news segment tonight. But first, let us take a quick break. We'll be right back with even more.
We have newly wedded couples with the
Welcome back. You are still watching GBS News at 9. Leaders from Siaya County are demanding justice for Willis Ayeko, whose body was found after he went missing on October 18, 2024. During his burial on the Onyende village, politicians including Alego Usonga Member of Parliament, Samuel Atandi and Governor James Orengo expressed concerns over the police investigation, criticizing unverified theories and calling for a more focused effort to find those responsible. Here is more on the same. Moving on, bringing together 200 business leaders in Kisumu for its Business Club Forum, Absa Bank Kenya today wrapped up its Western Kenya caravan aimed at empowering SMEs across the region. The forum, part of engagements held in Bungoma, Busia, Kericho, Kisii, Migori, and Homa Bay, focused on fostering networking opportunities and insights from industry leaders. Here is our story and more in business.
Aiming to empower SMEs across Western Kenya, Absa Bank Kenya has concluded its caravan, which hosted 200 business leaders in Kisumu for a Business Club Forum. Speaking during the event, Absa Bank Kenya head of Small and Medium Enterprises Erastus Mudhura highlighted the bank's commitment to supporting SMEs, including women, youth, and persons with disabilities-led SMEs.
We also look at how we can facilitate access to markets and market linkages by giving you both information and the markets so that you can be able to sell your goods not just within the county, but outside the county, outside the country, and the regions beyond by taking advantage of the opportunities presented to us by the East African Community, by the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement that helps us to encourage the free movement of people and goods both across the region and across Africa.
Small and medium enterprises plays a very critical function in every community and to the economy as a whole. They are not only employers, but also customers to large companies across the supply chain.
In other latest updates, bringing global attention to urgent issues surrounding climate finance, the 29th UN Climate Change Conference, also known as COP29, is taking place from November 11th to 22nd in Baku, Azerbaijan. With the trillions needed to support poorer nations in adapting and mitigating climate change, the stakes couldn't be higher. A major challenge is finding funding for poorer nations, as the current $100 billion in annual support falls short. Many experts now argue for at least $1 trillion annually. However, political instability in donor countries like US and Germany complicates long-term commitments, raising doubts about financing pledges and progress at COP29. With fewer high-profile leaders present and the absence of major carbon emitters like the US and China, the path forward remains uncertain. Yet the numbers are clear. Without substantial financial commitments, addressing the global climate crisis will only grow costlier in the years to come. In other business updates, Bitcoin soared to a record high above $81,000 on Monday, on expectations that cryptocurrencies will boom in a favorable regulatory environment following the election of Donald Trump as the US president and pro-crypto candidates to Congress. The world's biggest and best-known cryptocurrency has now more than doubled from a year's low of $38,505 and was last at $81,572, having earlier touched a record high of $81,899. Trump embraced digital assets during his campaign, promising to make the United States the crypto capital of the planet and to accumulate a national stockpile of Bitcoin. The cryptocurrency industry spent more than $119 million backing pro-crypto congressional candidates and has by large succeeded. Hilary Kabila, GBS News.
Leaders from Siaya County are demanding justice for Willis Ayeko, whose body was found after he went missing on October 18, 2024. During his burial in Ogiende village, politicians including Alego Usonga Member of Parliament, Samuel Atandi, and Governor James Orengo expressed concerns over the police investigation, criticizing unverified theories and calling for a more focused effort to find those responsible. Here are the details.
Leaders from Siaya County have called on the police to ensure the masterminds behind the death of Willis Ayeko are brought to justice. Speaking during Ayeko's burial in Onyende village, politicians from across the region expressed frustrations with the ongoing investigation and the theories being put forward by the police. Alego Usonga Member of Parliament Samuel Atandi expressed concerns, claiming that some of those involved in the investigation were prompting theories that could derail the search for the truth. Atandi revealed that a senior DCI official had suggested that the police were considering a theory involving a group hired to provide security at a funeral vigil Ayeko attended. James Orengo echoed Atandi's sentiments, insisting that the public was not interested in theories, but in concrete answers. He urged the police to use modern technology to identify and bring the true culprits to book. Chieng and his Rarienda counterpart Otiende Amolo both expressed alarm over the rising cases of abduction and mysterious killings across the country.
In a dramatic turn of events in Haiti, Prime Minister Gary Conille, who who has held office for less than 6 months, is facing a possibility of removal following a leaked executive order. The Haiti Transitional Presidential Council, a body tasked with overseeing the country's fragile government, has agreed by consensus to fire Conil, citing his inability to unite the council and his contentious demands for the resignation of certain members under investigation for corruption. In response, Conil has called the decision illegal, raising serious concerns about the country's political future. Here is more on the same.
Haiti's transitional government has named Alex Zida Filzame as the new prime minister, replacing Gary Conil. A leaked executive order reveals that the Haiti Transitional Presidential Council has voted to fire Conil following a turbulent period of disagreements within the government. Conil, however, has rejected the move, calling it illegal and raising alarms over the country's future stability.
This resolution, taken outside any legal or constitutional framework, raises serious concerns about its legitimacy and its impact on the future of our country.
The decision comes after months of internal strife within the council, with Conil pushing for the resignation of 3 council members who are under investigation for corruption. Tensions have escalated, and now a new name has emerged: Alex Zida Filzame, a businessman and former Senate candidate, is set to replace Gary Conil. Rinjuguna, GBS News.
Do keep your comments coming in through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa on all our social media handles. That report brings us to our international news, but first let us take a quick commercial break.
Assessments are conducted twice a year. We have the May-June examinations and the October-November examinations in a given year.
Welcome to the 254 Trivia Game Show, where every second counts and the stakes are sky high.
Get ready for jaw-dropping challenges, mind-bending questions, and unbeatable fun.
Who will rise to the top and claim the ultimate prize?
Tune into GBS TV and let the games begin.
Don't miss out. This is the 254 Trivia Game Show. Good luck.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to the broadcast, and now to matters international news. Latest polls in Ghana indicate that opposition leader and former President John Dramani Mahama is leading the race for the upcoming December presidential election. Mahama, representing the National Democratic Congress, is up against current Vice President Mahamudu Buhame of the ruling New Patriotic Party, with 13 candidates vying to replace outgoing President Nana Akufo-Addo, who is stepping down after 2 terms. The election focuses heavily on economic recovery as Ghana grapples with a severe financial crisis. Here are the details.
The latest polls in Ghana indicate that the former president, John Dramani Mahama, representing the National Democratic Congress, is leading the race for the December 2024 presidential elections. His main competitors is the Vice President, Mahamudu Bawumia, from the ruling New Patriotic Party, as both seek to succeed President Nana Akufo-Addo, who is stepped down after his 2-term limit. 13 candidates are competing overall, but Mahama and Bawuma have emerged as the front-runners. Ghana faces a significant economic crisis marked by high inflation and debt default. In 2022, the country, one of the world's largest cocoa producers, defaulted on much of its $30 billion external debt after years of overborrowing, leading to currency devaluation and high living costs. Both Mahama and Bawumia are focusing on their campaigns on promises of economic recovery and job creations to address these issues. Mahama, who was president from 2012 to 2017, has pledged to stabilize the economy and improve living standards, while Bawuma, an economist, argues that he can build on the government progress in digitalization and financial reform. With economic concerns dominating the election, Ghana's outcome could be pivotal, as no party has won more than 2 consecutive terms in the country's democratic history. Paris Kigo, GBS News.
In the Democratic Republic of Congo, a new political alliance has been formed to oppose proposed constitutional changes that critics argue would allow President Felix Tshisekedi to extend his rule indefinitely. The coalition, called National Awakening, aims to rally against these changes. Here are the details.
On Saturday, a group of Congolese political and civil society leaders announced the formation of an alliance called National Awakening. This coalition is united in opposition to efforts by President Tshisekedi's government to amend the country's constitution. The leaders say these changes will allow Tshisekedi to stay in power beyond the limits set by the current law. The alliance plans to hold its first meeting in mid-December to honor the 2005 referendum, which led to the adoption of the 2006 constitution. They have labeled the proposed constitutional changes as high treason. Opposition figures like Martin Fayulu and Moise Katumbi are also organizing separate campaigns against the proposed constitutional reforms. Tshisekedi, however, argues that the current constitution is outdated and needs to be updated. The existing law limits presidential terms to 2. But Tshisekedi supporters say the constitution was written in a period of weakness when the country was recovering for more. They argue that constitutional reforms are necessary to strengthen the nation's sovereignty in light of its shifting political and military dynamics in the region. This is Abdi Hamid Ali, GBS News.
Thousands of people from around Botswana attended the inauguration Friday of their country's new president, Duma Boko, who called for unity after an election that brought to an end to the former ruling party's 58 years in power. His umbrella for Democratic Change coalition of Botswana National Front and the Alliance for Progressives won 36 parliamentary seats and denied former President Mokwetsi Masisi a second term. Here is more on the same.
It's been a day that Botswana have been waiting and history to be recorded, as those that gathered in Botswana capital, Gaborone, on Friday to witness Duma Boko's inaugurations as president, marking the end of the Botswana Democratic Party, 58-year-old hold on power.
I, Duma Gideon Boko, do swear that I will faithfully and diligently discharge my duties and perform my functions in the high office of the Republic of President of the Republic of Botswana.
Boko's umbrella for the Democratic Change coalition, comprising the Botswana National Front and Alliance for Progressives, secured 36 parliamentary seats, defeating former President Mokwetsi Masisi, who conceded power peace-free. In his inaugural address, Boko called for unity, expressing appreciation to Botswana for their support and urging respect for his predecessor.
Togetherness, we are the village that the future will look back to and either praise or look back in lamentation. Let's send our roaring voices into the future to be the wind beneath our sails. Let's carry those who came before us, those we have today, and those who will come after us.
While his speech focused on national unity, he acknowledged the country's economic challenges, especially rising unemployment, which has reached 27.6%. Boko's party has pledged to tackle corruption, implement on minimum wage, and create job opportunities, responding to citizen concerns highlighted in the recent Afrobarometer survey. Among the dignitaries present were former President Ian Khama, South African Deputy President Paul Mashatile, and economic freedom fighters leader Julius Malema. The peaceful transition has been hailed as a historic milestone in Botswana democracy, sparking hope for a new era of inclusive leadership and economic reform under Boko's administration. Paris Kigo, GBS News.
In a historic move, President-elect Donald Trump has named Susie Wills the strategic behind his successful 2016 campaign as his White House Chief of Staff. Wills becomes the first woman to hold this influential role, and her appointment signals a key early decision as Trump prepares to transition into office. Meanwhile, Trump has appointed Tom Homan, who will enforce mass deportation of illegal aliens and a strict border control. Here is more on the same.
Susie likes to stay sort of in the back, let me tell you.
President-elect Donald Trump has tapped Susie Wiles to serve as his White House Chief of Staff, marking a pivotal step in his new administration. Wiles garnered praise for her role in managing Trump's successful and highly disciplined campaign, is the first woman to hold the influential position. Her appointment is being seen as one of Trump's most significant early decisions, as he now faces the task of assembling a team to manage the federal government. Her selection is an important contrast to Trump's previous transition team in 2016, which was marked by chaos and infighting. Trump aides hope that Wiles' leadership will create a more cohesive White House, although it's expected that her team will maintain the unconventional style that defined Trump's campaign. Reports emerged today that Trump has appointed Tom Homan as the new border czar. Trump said via his Truth Social account that he will handle strict border control and enforce mass deportations of illegal immigrants. On Friday, Trump met Scott Bessek, an investor who is a potential nominee for the head of U.S. Treasury, and House Representative Elise Stefanik, who is also rumored to be the U.S. ambassador to the United States. News of Trump's new appointees are being closely watched, as it will likely set the tone for the rest of Trump's second-term administration. This is Abdi Hamid Ali, GBS News.
The Ice Maiden, we call her the Ice.
Do keep your comments coming in through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa on all our social media handles. And now for sports lovers, it is time for your most anticipated part of the news, the sports news. Let's get sporty. Kenya women's amputee football team secured an impressive fourth place in the inaugural 2024 Women's Amputee Football World Cup held at the Romelio Martinez Stadium in Barranquilla, Colombia. The World Cup was played in a 7A-side format, which 225 halves, and brought together top talents from across the globe, showcasing the best of the women's amputee football. The title was won by host Colombia, who beat USA 2-1 on penalties after coming from behind to face 1-1 normal time. Kenya narrowly missed out on a podium finish, falling 1-0 to Poland in the third-place playoff played on Monday dawn. Kenya, under the leadership of head coach Clement Otieno, had a tough journey to the knockouts. They faced the host in the semis, losing narrowly 0-1 in the quarterfinals. Kenya triumphed over Ukraine with a crucial 1-0 victory thanks to star player Mercy Anjenjo's decisive goal. In the group stage, Kenya displayed resilience and skill, clinching a 1-0 win against England, with Anjenjo again delivering a critical second-half goal. The team also held Haiti to a 0-0 draw and celebrated a 2-0 victory over Peru, with Anjenjo's standout performance central to their success.
Selección de Kenia. ¡Gol! Ya sacaron las chicas de Inglaterra que pierden 1-0, tocándola para Isabel Anastasia, que tiene el campo y dice que este partido ha terminado.
The Kenya Simbas got their quest for the 2024 Elgon Cup off a flying start, registering a hard-fought 27-25 win over the battling Uganda Rugby Cranes in an explosive contest staged at the Fair Grounds in Nairobi. The return leg is set for Kampala this coming weekend, and Kenya will be aiming to chalk another win to bag the title. At the referee grounds, Griffin Chow went over the whitewash to give Kenya the opener, but the home side did not make the most, failing to convert before widening their lead courtesy to Jason Misoga. The battle became fierce, and it was Uganda who struck after Pius Ogana breached the Kenyan defense to make the most of the offload of the whole Uganda back. They went on to this newfound momentum, their locks doing a lot of work as Innocent Quarto added to their try. More tries were traded after the breather Brian Wahinya putting his name on the score sheet with a brace, while starman John Kubu also claimed another for Kenya, who held the win at 27-25 despite a spirited effort from the Ugandans.
Turning out for one.
The Rugby Africa Women's Sevens took place at the University of Ghana from November 9th to 10th. The Kenya Women's Rugby Sevens team, the Lioness, finished second in the Africa Cup after losing 19-10 to South Africa in the final on Sunday, November 10th in Accra, Ghana. Uganda won the third playoff match 17-5, defeating Madagascar, South Africa, Kenya and Uganda, qualifying to represent Africa at the World Rugby Challenger Series 2025. Kenya's Stella Wafula found a gap in their defense and spirited across the line, becoming the first player to score against South Africa in the tournament, giving Kenya a 5-0 lead. Ayanda Malinga's try leveled the score at 5-5. The short-handed South Africans held strong to the finish to the half-tie despite Ayanda's yellow card. Sharon Auma gave Kenya the lead, but shortly after the Springbok women struck back with a try from Felicia Jacobs, who scored under the post to give South Africa a narrow 12-10 lead. Moments later, Kenya narrowly lost a ball on attack, and Felicia Jacobs was set up for the decisive try that saw South Africa win, get the crown and become the best in Africa.
All she needs to do is give it away to Jacobs at the right time, and that'll be a try under the posts for South Africa. They won't catch her. That was excellent play and thoughtful play by Zintle Mapupa. Still Roos with a tackle. Kenya now, they play over on their side. Latergan with the tackle. Kenya, South Africans are defending, but Kenya are doing so well to hold on to possession. Oh, and they give the possession away. Mapupa tackled. Turnover of possession, that could be vital with 45 seconds remaining in this match. Malinga, there goes Malinga. Still, this could be crucial if she goes all the way. Will she go all the way? She needs support in the form of Mapupa. The players are out on their feet. Springbok players, Mapupa now, and she gives it to Jacobs, and that'll be the winning try. That was excellent end-to-end stuff for the Springbok women. Excellent rugby, and they could.
And that sports news brings us to the end of our news segment tonight. Here at GBS News at 9, we make your news our business. My name is Beatrice Njeri. Our sign language interpreter is Paul Mathenge. Good night.
Everywhere, GBS.